I'm Loida. Welcome back to my channel. I know it has been some time since you last saw me. However, I haven't forgotten about you. I've just been very busy trying to end the year with a bang. We're already in November, so we have November, December, and for those of you that are out prospecting, anything that you are able to get this month, it will close December, hopefully. So now is the time to kick it in high gear and put your best foot forward and just hustle through the next few weeks. Now before I begin, I do want to give a quick shout out to MailTech for sponsoring this video. MailTech is a Chrome browser extension that allows you to track and schedule your emails. It's an awesome tool that I highly recommend if you're in real estate because you can receive real-time alerts right on your desktop as soon as your prospects open your emails and click on the links within your emails. They also have this really cool feature called Pings, which allows you to automate your email follow-ups, which personally saves me a ton of time. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what are these things that are just never going to change? Because if anything, I would hope that things get easier as I get more experience. However, I can tell you based on my experience, these things that I'm about to name to you are things that I would wish they would stop, but they just don't. First, let's begin with the type of clients that you're going to deal with. You will always have those easy clients that are super easy to work with. They take you and your opinion and your consideration and everything that you tell them, and they'll do what you say because they know that you are the professional. And on the other hand, you will have those clients that are going to be a complete nightmare. They're going to question every single line on every single document and ask you where this penny is going and where that penny is going and why $5 is too much and oh my gosh, $5 more over here. You're going to have those clients that you yourself are going to think like, are you seriously asking me about this, or are you seriously not signing this right now? You're going to have those clients that are going to test your patience, and ultimately at that point you have to have a strong mindset to be able to not let it affect you, where you're going to want to cry. Like I said, you're going to want to quit being an agent just because you don't want to deal with it. And if you let it affect you, it's going to affect your life, and it's going to affect your family, and it's going to affect anyone around you because you're going to be negative and things like that. So that's one thing that's just never going to change. Whether you are new in the business or 20 years in the business, you will always encounter different type of clients, and you will always have different type of experiences. Some will be easy and some will be extremely difficult to deal with. Another thing that will never change, which kind of goes along with the type of clients you're going to work with, is the type of agents that are going to be in a transaction with you. Maybe they are the listing agent and you're representing the buyer, or maybe you are the listing agent and the buyer's agent is just not responding. You will always encounter those type of agents. Some of them are easy to work with, some of them just never respond, and it might not just be their agent, it might be the lender also. If you're a listing agent, I'm sure there have been many of you out there that have been on transactions where the lender just doesn't communicate, the agent doesn't communicate, they don't call, they don't text back, you don't know if the loan is going to go through or what is going on. You will also encounter those agents that beat around the bush and tell you that everything is fine, and then last minute turns out that their buyer is not qualified, or they went and bought a car and now they can no longer qualify for the house. There will be those people because unfortunately in this world right now, people are afraid of confrontation. So instead of them just being straightforward and letting you know what's going on, they're going to take their time and drag things along until it's really, really bad. And unfortunately, those are things that you just can't control. So you will have those agents that are great to work with. I have had the opportunity to be on transactions with those agents that I'm like, man, you were so easy to work with. I wish that every single transaction was like this, because anytime that I needed something, that agent was quick to get me the information that I needed, or any document, or any time that we needed a signature from the seller or the buyer, the other agent was quick to make sure that that information or signature was done and the information was sent back to us. So that is another thing that unfortunately is not going to change, which is the type of agent you are working with on your transaction. And the last thing that I want to talk about in this video that unfortunately is just not going to change, again, no matter how long you've been in the business, is the outcome of a transaction. You will go into escrow many times and something will happen where the deal is going to fall apart, and it's just things that you cannot control. So you can never rely on a certain transaction and on a certain paycheck until the deal actually closes. I know that's going to be very difficult, especially if you're a newer agent, just because it might be one of your first deals that you finally got under contract, or maybe your buyer finally found the house of their dreams and you guys submitted an offer, but something might happen throughout the transaction where either the buyer or the seller is going to back out, or something happens where the deal just falls apart and it cancels. And that's the reality of this business. Ultimately, you cannot rely on a transaction until it closes, and I can't stress that enough. So you can't be dependent on a certain paycheck for a commission that you're about to close. If it's not closed, you just shouldn't consider that money, to be honest, because it has happened to me, and everything that I tell you guys in my videos is based on my experience. It has happened to me where I'm on a transaction, we're in escrow, everything's going good, and then for some reason the family member of one of my clients or the family member of the client that's on the other side, something happens and they just can't sell anymore, or my buyer lost their job and can't buy. It has happened before, and you know, those are things that I can't like force them to buy or to sell when it's things that I can't control. So ultimately, my advice for you would be to, as soon as you open escrow or as soon as you are in a transaction, make sure that you're continuing prospecting and generating leads and setting appointments, because let's say it turns out that one of the transactions cancels, maybe you already have the next one lined up. So you can never just rely on one, because then again, once that one closes, if you don't have anything else going on, then you got to start again from the bottom and work your way up to your next transaction. So it's better to have more leads, more appointments, and more transactions already in place, so that it's kind of like a domino effect. One closes, then another one closes, but you already have the next one lined up. And if a deal falls apart, but you have 3 escrows going on, then you're fine, because you know, okay, I have 2 other ones going on and I know I'm generating more business. So that's the third thing that I want you guys to remember. So that's it for this video. I hope that you learned from the tips and the things that I talked about. Again, everything that I do mention is based on my experience. I wish it was easy and for me to tell you that, oh yeah, everything's gonna be smooth transactions, no headaches, but that's just never gonna change. You're never gonna be able to pick the type of people you work with in terms of the clients or the agents or the vendors, and you just have to be able to know how to work with each type of person, their personality, and at the same time know how to control yourself and your emotions. So if, let's say, you are working with a difficult buyer or seller, you know, for it to not consume you, and also for you to be able to communicate with them in a way where everyone gets along. So once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out MailTag. The link will be in the video description box below. If you're not following me on social media, I highly suggest you go and check me out. Many times when I'm not posting on YouTube, I am posting on Instagram and Facebook. So there might be some things that you see there that you don't see on YouTube. And also stay tuned, because I do have a few events coming up, including one in the East Coast that I'm really excited to share with you guys. So stay tuned for the next video. I will probably be sharing that with you then, and hopefully if you're on the East Coast, you might be able to go and see me. So that's it. Thanks again. I'll see you guys on the next one.